Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Jai Radha Murlidhara Shri Radhe Radha Murlidhara Shri Radhe Jaya Gaura Chandra 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 Jaya Chandra Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Gaura Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So let me share the screen for the verses that we're doing today. Okay, I hope the screen is now visible to everyone. Okay, so we are speaking today from Canto 10, chapter 51, verses 54 and 55. So this is verse 54. Manye mamanugraha ishate krito rajanubandha pagamo yadracha ya prarthayate sadhubir ekacharyaya vanam viviksadhibir akhanda bhumipe. Translation by the disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My Lord, I think you have shown me mercy since my attachment to my kingdom has spontaneously ceased. Such freedom is prayed for by saintly rulers of vast empires who desire to enter the forest for a life of solitude. Verse 55. Nakamaye nyantava pada sevanat akinchana prarthatamadvaram vibho aradhayaskastvam hi apavargadam hare pranita aryo varamatma bandhanam. O all-powerful one, I desire no boon other than service to your lotus feet, the boon most eagerly sought by those free of material desire. O Hari, what enlightened person who worships you, the giver of liberation, would choose a boon that causes his own bondage? Purport. The Lord offered Muchukunda anything he desired, but Muchukunda desired only the Lord. This is pure Krishna consciousness. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjanashalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Saadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. So welcome everyone to today's morning Bhagavatam class. I'm very grateful and happy to be here after almost 2 months. And initially I would definitely like to seek the blessings of all the devotees, senior devotees, Adi Purush Prabhu, devotees online, offline. We have Janitai, Prabhu and Bhavati Devi here, very nicely serving the deities and also trying their best to serve the community here. Seek the blessings that whatever I may speak, it may be based, a little bit based on my realization, but most importantly on the realization of the great devotees whose prayers we are reciting and trying to understand now. We see that these prayers of Muchukunda that we are particularly focusing on today, we see that devotees, they want nothing except pure devotional service of Krishna. And this is a very common theme throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. Especially for Muchukunda, we see a shift from the previous verse, from verse number 53 onwards, where Muchukunda is now actively seeking pure devotional service from Krishna, whereas earlier he was speaking more about the fallacies of material life, of materialistic desires. One of the most important signs that we're actually on our way actively towards Krishna is that we lose our taste for material attachments. Mm-hmm. And also it is sometimes necessary that yes, people get a kingdom just to get it out of their system. If they have a desire, let them have it. Like we see in Canto 3, Kardama Muni, he prayed to Lord Vishnu to have a wife who would fulfill his desires. And Mother Devhuti, even she wanted a nice son, a family, everything. And Kardama Muni, when he actually had darshan of Lord Vishnu, he actually felt bad. Like he's like, okay, I'm asking for this, but I know that this is a materialistic desire, but I still have this desire. And Lord Vishnu was like, see, it's fine. Have this desire, have a wife. I'll bless you that you will have a wife. Follow the rules and regulations properly and keep me as the center, ultimately come back to me. And yes, they both enjoyed materially quite a lot. Like compared to today's standards, the material enjoyment that they had was like way above anything else. Like it's beyond our imagination. That for thousands of years they had. But the thing is that they did not break any principles as such, and they did try to always keep, in fact, not they did try, but they always did keep Krishna at the center of whatever they did. Because we see that Kardama Muni, he did a lot of penance. He was basically like a yoga siddha person. And Mother Devhuti, by just serving her husband, she herself was almost at his level. So they were advised to enjoy together. And then in one sense, after a certain time realized that, yes, this is not the end of everything. There's the futility of it. They realized it. And then, yes, Mother Devhuti, then, she took instructions from her own son, Kapil Dev. And she led the life of a renunciate, especially after her husband left and after she got instructions from her son. And then, but this sense of detachment, this moment of realization that yes, you really understand fully within yourself that material enjoyment is futile, is also given to us by Krishna. This feeling of detachment, true understanding of detachment, can only be given to us by Krishna in this form of Paramatma. It has to come from within. You can't artificially fake it. And that's what Muchukunda is even saying over here, that I've lost all my attachment to my kingdom, and that is your mercy. So yes, it is. It's not that devotees have no desires as such. They do have desires, and they pray, and sincerely they try to get through them in the sense they try to, little by little, they try to get rid of them. Or sometimes they don't even actually pray or even ask for them, for the fulfillment of these material desires. And this means that they are on the path of pure devotional service. Um, we see Prahlad Maharaj. This is a very nice verse, like one verse that really struck out to me when I was reading Bhagavatam a few days back. Let me see if I can share the screen for this. It's a very nice verse. Mm. Mm. Oh, yeah. So this is from Canto 7, chapter 10, verse 7. Yadi dasyasi me kamam varam stvam varada rishab kamanam hridaya asamroham bhavatastu vrane varam. O my Lord, best of the givers of benediction, if you at all want to bestow a desirable benediction upon me, then I pray from your Lordship that within the core of my heart there be no material desires. So Prahlad Maharaj himself is also asking for this very important benediction, that there be no materialistic desires within his heart. And he's calling Krishna, Lord Vishnu, actually Varadrishabh. Varadrishabh means the one who's giving the highest forms of benedictions. He's requesting him to remove all materialistic desires, because lest I ask for something that binds me to this material. For example, there is this jail. Prabhupada gives this example many times. And the president of the country, he comes to the jail. The president has the rights that he can forgive you of all your punishments and everything, and he can actually free you from the prison. And he asks you, if you are a prisoner over there, what do you want? And you say that it is so hot over here. Can you please install an AC here in my room? Or someone is like, they're hungry, and they're like, you know what, when I was a child, I used to have pizzas. Can you just give me a pizza? We all can have just a nice, all prisoners together, we'll come together and we'll have a nice pizza party over here. So literally, these are the things that we will ask for instead of the most basic thing, and that is that free me, get me out of this prison. So devotees know that this is what materialistic desires can do to you. That's why they don't want to have materialistic desires. They want to be free so that they can serve Krishna. And ultimately, all our attachments need to be shifted to Krishna and his service. That is the only way in which we can get rid of materialistic attachments. Our propensity to have these attachments is there, but we have to divert it to Krishna. Attachments on their own is not bad, provided it is towards Krishna and his service, towards his devotees. And Muchukund, we see he wants pure devotional service. He's not asking for anything else. The boon he's asking for, he's not asking for liberation. Mukunda himself, Krishna is there in front of him, and he's like, you are asking me for anything. You are the bestower of liberation, but I'm asking just for pure devotional service. And this prayer and similar prayers that he's asked for, or the devotees in general throughout Bhagavatam, they ask, that we want the association of devotees. We want to have the taste for hearing your glories. We want to have the taste for reading or chanting your names, like reading the scriptures about you. These are all spiritual desires. Particularly in verse 54, we see that Muchukund is talking about Rajrishi kings. Rajrishi kings are kings who have a very divine and spiritual nature. Means whatever they do, their duties they perform only in connection to Krishna. They don't do it for any of their own materialistic propensities. And because kings have a huge task, they have to pass judgments, they have to listen to everyone day in, day out. They have to hear complaints about everyone, make sure that they pass a judgment which is right for everyone. So it's a huge task. You also get a lot of facilities. You get to live in a huge palace. You can have so many servants serving you all the time. But nonetheless, it's a tremendous task. And Raj Rishis are above all of these. Like, for example, a good example is actually Janak Maharaj, Mother Sita's father. He was an ideal Raja Rishi. In fact, I think there is one someone in Mahabharata actually quotes him to say that, that yes, Maharaj Janak had once said that even if this whole Mithila catches fire, there is no loss to me, because as such nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. And Maharaj Yudhishthir was also like that way. Once he also had the same mindset. Once Krishna left this world, Maharaj Yudhishthir is like, okay, now there's nothing left for me to do over here. I was living in this world only to serve Krishna. Now that Krishna is not there, there is no service for me to do for him. Then it's better that even I leave my kingdom and everything and try to follow in the path of the try to follow the path of renunciation and ultimately go back to Krishna. Um, so especially Srimad Bhagavatam gives the examples of, kings like Maharaj Janak or, Maharaj Yudhishthir, because Srimad Bhagavatam wants us to understand that just because we don't have attachment to material things, it doesn't mean that we become lazy. Because that's usually what happens, like especially we see in a lot of like so-called sadhus, who may renounce everything. They feel that, okay, now I don't have any responsibilities now, so I can relax. So they're not doing anything. Neither are they speaking anything about God or about anything else. They're just literally in one place, and neither are they even doing anything for their own personal spiritual realization. If they're genuinely a sadhu, like luckily the sadhus of our movement, they actively go out to preach. They're telling everyone about Krishna. They have such a strong sadhana that even the most hardcore karmi will find it difficult to catch up with some of the sadhana and the level of renunciation that a lot of the sadhus of our movement have. And I think there is this story, right? I believe it's based on a real life incident that there was a criminal and he escaped from the prison and he didn't know where to hide. So he took shelter of a Hare Krishna temple. And, like as a criminal, whatever he may have looked at, but when he went to the temple, he shaved his head, he shaved his beard, he shaved his mustache. So he was basically unrecognizable. And for 3 years, he stayed at the temple trying to escape the police. Finally, because of the chanting and the purification he underwent, he felt very bad. And so he willingly went to the police and surrendered himself and said that, okay, I'm so and so, I'm this criminal you've been searching for so many years. So he was taken to the judge, and the judge asked him that, who are you? So he says that I'm this criminal and everything. And he's like, where were you staying all this time? He's like, I was staying at this Hare Krishna temple. He's like, what did you do over there for 3 years? So he's like, this criminal turned devotee. He said, oh, well, I used to get up every day at 3 o'clock. I used to attend Mangalarti, chant all my rounds. And then for the whole day, I was distributing books. I was cooking. I was doing this, that, till finally the whole day I was just busy in service. Finally, at the night, when it was like really late, like sometimes 9 or 10 o'clock in the night, I would finally, be lucky enough to rest. And the judge laughed and he said that the life you have lived for the past 3 years is even worse than what we give to an inmate in a prison. It's even more tough than that. So he's like, you're better off staying in the temple. You're getting sufficient punishment over there itself. So you see that devotional life or the cessation of material attachments doesn't make one lazy. We are really, really very active. Prabhupada himself said once when a reporter asked him that, what work do you do? Prabhupada initially said that, oh, a rich person's child doesn't need to do so much of work. They're automatically given many things. But later Prabhupada also said that the work we do is so much you can't catch up with us. We really do a lot of work. We're translating books day in, day out, distributing books, helping people lead a more spiritual life. So yes, devotees don't become irresponsible if that is, like a thing that might come in any person's mind that, oh, if we leave all our material desires, what's going to happen of us? And we see that again. I'm coming back to the point that these prayers of Muchukunda are very are even like spoken of by several other devotees in the Bhagavatam itself. Several other pure devotees, like even Vritrasur, in one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 6th canto, he says that oh my Lord, I do not desire to enjoy in Dhruva Loka, the heavenly planets, or the planet even where Lord Brahma resides. Nor do I want the supreme ruler, nor do I want to be the supreme ruler of all the earthly planets or the lower planetary systems. I do not desire to be the master of the powers of mystic yoga, nor do I want liberation if I have to give up your lotus feet. Basically, he doesn't want anything. He doesn't want anything except service to Krishna. And this is actually what what other pure devotees, even the Nagapatnis, they also recite a similar prayers. They don't want anything. They just want an opportunity to serve Krishna. Even another very famous prayer which is given by Maharaj Kulashekar, was an alvar in the a very important alvar of the South Indian tradition. In his Mukundamala Stotra, there is this verse. Okay, let me see if I can just pull that up. That is also something that I really, really like very much. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Mukundamala Stotra. This, okay, yes, this is it. Verse number 4, Sutra 4. Naham vande tava charanayor dvandam advanda dheto kumbhi pakam gurumapi hare narakam napetyam ramya rama mridu tanulata nandane napirantam bhave bhave hridaya bhavane bhavyayeyam bhavantam. Wow, that's like quite a tongue twister kind of a verse, sorry. The translation is here. O Lord Hari, it is not to be saved from the dualities of material existence or the grim tribulations of the Kumbhipaka hell that I prayed to your lotus feet for. Nor is my purpose to enjoy the soft-skinned, beautiful women who reside in the gardens of heaven. I prayed to your lotus feet only so that I may remember you alone in the core of my heart, birth after birth. So, like when I read this, like my first thing was that yes, this prayer is very nice, and the first thing that came to mind is, what is this Kumbhipaka hell? Like, what exactly goes on over there? So all these hellish planets are, the very nice description is given in the 5th canto, and Kumbhipaka hell is a hell in which there's a huge kitchen, and there is a huge pot in which we are dumped based on, basically we are our subtle bodies, they are dumped in that because we have performed so many sins. We are cooked. We're actually cooked because we have maybe cooked other animals. We have cooked and eaten them, So this is what happens in Kumbhipaka hell. And when I read that, I'm like, wow, this is a huge thing to not ask for, especially if you're doing this kind of sins. He doesn't want to be saved from this kind of huge hellish conditions. All he wants is service to Krishna's lotus feet. That's all he wants. Everything else is fine. So it seems that pure devotees don't even ask for some basic sustenance. And initially when I used to always read these verses, and even still now, I have these doubts that is not some kind of stability required in life. Is it not that, yes, we should ask for Krishna for, some basic money or some basic monetary fulfillments in our life so that we can lead, a life, without having too much to think about, okay, where am I going to stay now? What is going to happen to me? So yes, we do require this kind of like basic sustenance, don't we? But it seems the pure devotees don't even ask for that, because they are assured that if we do our responsibilities properly, then automatically we will get what is written in our destiny. Prahlad Maharaj also says that people don't actively go to seek out any difficulties or pain in their life, and yet they come. Everyone wants to be happy. If you're expecting some particular kind of sadness, then okay, it's a different thing. But most of the sadness that comes in our life is something that is unexpected. And that is what pains the most. So in the same way, even happiness, whether it is expected or unexpected, it is going to come. So devotees ideally shouldn't worry so much about it. They try their best, and ultimately, yes, know that everything rests in the hands of Krishna. And yes, people have so many different desires. And Krishna is also very smart. He's also very intelligent. He's also very loving. He wants to help everyone. But at the same time, he's also very intelligent. He will see that, yes, this person has so many desires, material, spiritual, whatever it is, and this person has come to me. And later, what he does initially is that he will fulfill all their desires. That's what the initial thing is. He will fulfill all the desires. And later, once this person is sufficiently attached to Krishna, and it is assured that this person won't leave Krishna, then Krishna starts the real operation. Operation in terms of removing every kind of mean and nasty things that might be there in the person's heart. And it's a very painful process. Trust me, like sometimes I feel I'm going through it day by day. Basically, Krishna is trying to remove the obstacles to our bhakti, obstacles in our way to reaching Krishna fully. So the devotee will cry because it's a very painful process getting rid of all your attachments, getting rid of all the anarthas that are there within you. But ultimately, he will go to Krishna and Krishna alone. And he will do this till the devotion is, and Krishna will do this till the devotion is fully established, and that devotee uses everything in his hands for the service of Krishna. Then Krishna will give everything to that devotee. For example, the Pandavas, their father died when they were very young, and even the ones who were supposed to protect them, they turned against them. But when they were sent in exile for 14 years, they had such a sense of satisfaction. Yes, they're eternally pure devotees, but they also on a more human level, they had such a sense of satisfaction that they actually went to Krishna and said that, Krishna, you know what, there is no use for this war and everything. Just ask, just go as our peace messenger and just ask 5 villages from Duryodhan, because we're Kshatriyas, we have, we need some sustenance in life. So just ask for 5 villages. Even Bhima, who's such a hot-headed person, even he cooled down. And even he was like, okay, I'm okay with this. And when Krishna was going to be the peace messenger, he met Draupadi on the way. And Draupadi is like, you're going as a peace messenger. What about the revenge that I'm supposed to get, for the insult that everything has happened to me? So Krishna turned to her and said, you think Duryodhana is actually going to accept all of these kind of, he's such a evil-minded, proud person. He's not even going to give 5 villages to the Pandavas. And even if he does agree to it, I will still ensure that the Pandavas themselves become the kings, because I want them to become the king. So Krishna, when he sees that the devotees are self-satisfied, that all they want is service to him, then he will give them all the resources, whether they want it or not. And obviously, then the devotees will take it as the mercy of Krishna and they will accept it. So if you go to Krishna for anything, don't be scared. The operation that Krishna is going to perform on us is only for our own benefit. And another thing that comes out in this is that if Krishna, if he destroys all our karma, okay, he's going to destroy all the sinful reactions and everything. But the thing is that Krishna also ends up destroying the piety within us. So if there is no piety within us, that means we're not going to get anything from material nature. We won't have any money. We won't have any bank balance, because if piety is vanquished, then the material energy can't supply anything to us, because we are over and above the material energy. So that means there won't be money. There might not even be so much family support. There'll be nothing. So devotees, in the initial stages, are not as so much an advanced level. And people in general, they are scared if their piety is destroyed. So still, they shouldn't worry, because if the material energy, not taking into account that you have no piety, is not going to give you anything, then Krishna is going to give you it. And devotees are convinced of that yes, and that is why you see in these prayers, they don't ask for anything. They just ask for service to Krishna, because they know Krishna is the ultimate giver of all benedictions. He's the one who's actually going to take care of you. So they don't need to be scared. That verse is there, right, in Bhagavad Gita. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupashate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshema vahamyaham. Krishna says that those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So if we don't have any possessions or anything of that sort, don't worry, Krishna will give us what is needed for us. He takes care of us like his own children. A good father never gives any excuses when it comes to taking care of his children. He will try his best. And Krishna is the supreme father. He will definitely take care of us. So we don't need to worry. When I was reading these verses, I was thinking that how is this related, how is this relatable to me at this stage of my life right now? And then I realized that yes, it is very relevant to me because this is where I want to be. It's not necessary that it might be relevant to me at my stage right now, that yes, I'm asking only for pure devotional service, I'm asking for nothing else. I'm okay if I'm cooked in a pot or anything of that sort in some hell, or if I have no material possessions or anything of that sort. Maybe I'm not at that stage yet where I can completely free of all material desires ask of these boons from Krishna, but this is what my ultimate desire is, and I need to start working on it from now itself. This is now is the time when we actually take really seriously what these devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam are saying. Really be assured that yes, Krishna is there to help us. If not now, then when am I going to realize that there's going to be no real, proper, great, perfect moment for me to realize this, except now. So that is how these verses become relevant to us, by actually making it clear where we want to go and what we are supposed to do. That is why Prabhupada took so much of pains day in, day out in translating these books, to make us realize that this is where we have to go. This is what we have to realize. This is what will ultimately take us back home, back to Godhead, if this is what you want. If going to Backhead is important, going back home, back to Godhead is important to you, then yes, this is how we can go back. So I'll end my class here. I pray to Srila Prabhupada that, and all the devotees, that at least some little bit of whatever I have spoken of, or what I've read, most importantly, what our acharyas have commented on in these verses of Bhagavatam, seeps a little bit in my heart, in my soul, in my psyche. And I realize that this is where I want to go, and I start working towards it little by little. Even if it's a baby step, it's okay, but at least I'm progressing towards it. So I'll end my class here. Please, I'm open to any corrections, comments, questions, whatever it may be. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nandini and Radhika. Wonderful class, as always. Thank you. Okay, dear devotees, any corrections for what has just been said? Lilia, is that a correction? Okay. No.
It's a question. So, what's the purpose of going to hell if we can't remember that we went?
Krishna will give us remembrance of hell by giving us some kind of hellish conditions even while we are living in this material world, even while we are in this body. Sometimes hell is experienced even over here while we are living. We see so many nations all over the world are undergoing war, and people are seeing their loved ones die in front of them, and this is worse than hell. In hell, you might personally experience pain, but this is, imagine the pain that you're seeing your own loved ones suffer from. Another important reason why Krishna makes us go through hell is because in this way we are getting rid of our sinful reactions. So that is always required. If whether we remember it or we don't remember it, if our sinful reactions are getting reduced, that means we have sinful reactions, like for example, in this kind of hell that we had, we might have killed some animals in the past, because for eating them, or we might have cheated someone, or whatever it may be. There is a sinful reaction attached to our subtle body, and we need to get rid of that, so that when we take birth in this material world, that is not lingering over our head. Since that sinful reaction is out of our way because it's taken care of, we will be more open and more open to devotees when they come and preach to us. We will be more open to hearing Bhagavatam. Sometimes the burden of sinful reactions is so much that we are not able to understand and appreciate devotees when they come to us. We are not able to appreciate prasadam. We are not able to appreciate the beautiful form of Krishna when he's right in front of us. And that is because the sinful reactions are overburdening us. So yes, we may remember, we may not remember. Krishna may choose to make us remember it, or he may say that, okay, it's not required because it'd be too much for this person to it'll be too much for this. It'll be too difficult for a person to live if they have memories of the hell that they underwent. But even if he's making us go through hell, it is for our benefit, so that ultimately we are going back to him quickly. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, if we remember, then it's kind of cheating. We're only good because we don't want to go to hell. Krishna wants us to be good for real. Krishna
Yes,
wants us
that's a
to
good
be
point.
willing to go to hell if that's required, like the gopis. They didn't have any problem going to hell if Krishna so desired. It's, hope this helps.
I mean,
Damodar-
it's also the same. This is also the same reason. By I think like I heard this from one of a senior devotee at Bombay, is that if we remember our sinful, the pain that we underwent in hell, or even if we remember our past lives, it's too much for us to handle. We'll always be in fear. We won't be able to be good for the reason of being good. We won't be pure because we need to be pure. The fear of it will just be too much for us to handle. So yes, in one sense, it's a blessing that sometimes we forget the pain, so that yes, our mind needs to be somewhat stable, so that when the good comes in front of us, when the happy moments come in front of us, we are able to cherish that and remember that. And yes, be really want to be good, not because I want to escape hell, but because I want to serve Krishna. Yes, Damodar Priya Devi.
Hi, Krishna, Nandini, Radhika. Thank you so much for the class. Like I wrote in the chat, I really loved the story you shared about the thief getting caught at the temple. But my question was actually, oddly enough, related to kind of like what Lilia asked, is how about like how do we respond when somebody we're explaining to them about reincarnation and karma and so on, and they're like, well, if I'm not going to remember my previous lives, I'm not going to remember the next life, so I just have this life that I know of. So then why don't you just let me enjoy? Just let me, enjoy this life and be as happy as I can, and just let me do that. Like, I don't want to have to, do all these things that seem so difficult to me. So I was just wondering, like, in your experience, like, what would be a good response for when they say things like that?
Well, I think one of the most you can ask them, for such people who maybe don't believe in reincarnation, is that why are you suffering in this life? They must have undergone at least some illness. They would have fallen ill, if nothing else, at some point in their life. Maybe they would have undergone some losses, some deep tragedies in their life, or loss of job, loss of, or this sense of failure. Why do these things happen if they are so good, and if they are, they're just enjoying? If everything is nice in their life, if they haven't done anything wrong, then why is it that they're suffering so much? It's clearly because they are getting the reactions of something that they haven't done in this life. It's something that they're getting the reactions of something that they've done in their past life. In the same way, they'll be like, oh, I didn't even endeavor for, something. So, like I didn't endeavor for this money to come to me, or I didn't endeavor to, like inherit everything from this uncle of mine, or whatever it is, who didn't have any kids, and he just gave everything to me. Why is it that, you're suddenly become so lucky? It's because, yes, you have piety from your last life. And the fact is that even, yes, if they're able to answer these questions, which I feel mostly they would not be, because a lot of the results that we are experiencing in this life is because of what we have done in our previous lives. Reincarnation has also been scientifically proven. There have been many cases where people have, and this has been approved even by people from the medical field, that yes, they have, that a person has properly told, that, okay, I was so and so person in my past life. This person was my wife. This person was my husband. This is the way I died. This is the way someone killed me in my past life. So reincarnation is also something that is scientifically proven. If you have some evidence of that, some particular articles of that, it's something that, yeah, we can show them and prove that, yes, reincarnation is for real. It's not something that we can just ignore. And yet, If they still wish to ignore, then yeah, we can just do what Prabhupada did. Just give them prasad. Just give them, what did he call it? What are those things called? Those sweets, what are they called? No, not good. We call them particularly
Simply wonderful.
simply wonderfuls. Yes, just give them simply wonderfuls, because if they are like not ready for that, I'm sure at least they'll be open to have a simply wonderful. Nobody's gonna deny simply wonderful. Definitely, I won't, even if I have such a mindset. So yes, if nothing else works for them, just tell them to come for kirtan. Just give them some prasad. Eventually, they will realize. Eventually, they will realize and understand. The intelligence broadens and opens up once you start hearing Krishna's holy name. You start seeing things as they are once you start doing devotional service.
If you're hopeless, come to kirtan. If you're a lost case, take a gulab jamun like Bhima Prabhu is eating now. Is that gulab jamun, Bhima?
Salty little gulab jamuns. I would just very briefly like to say thank you, Nandini, Prabhujini. It's exactly it. If there is someone who has these questions, and ultimately kirtan and prasadam. I remember when I had a philosophy minor in college, and I would come, and of course, because I saw the devotees, I knew what was required, and of course, the mind will do battle against that as a new bhakta, or I wasn't even a bhakta, I just had a lot of questions, and I had a lot, not doubts, but I just wanted to find an excuse not to surrender. And Maharaj, he would not directly answer my questions. He would simply engage me in service, something for me to do, whether it was to help him cook or roll chapatis or run with pots full of prasadam to the cooking classes, or sweep the temple, or eat prasad. He constantly kept the new bhaktas fed with prasad. Back in the day, in 1980s, prasadam was, I don't know, at least at the temples I've visited, prasadam back then, it was unbelievable. You had you had 6-course meals. You couldn't deny the joy that you had in kirtan. You couldn't deny the joy of prasadam. You couldn't deny the joy of the beauty of Shastra. You just couldn't deny all the positive aspects. So the negative feelings you had were washed away. The doubts were washed away. So you sort of like wanted to become involved I wanted to become involved in Maharaj's world, because his world was more attractive than the world that I was coming from. As far as particular philosophical inquiries are concerned, we really can't answer them. These are things that are answered by from within. When somebody is ready to hear the answer, when someone is submissive to hear the answer. So you are right, that first line of defense is prasadam and kirtan. And as Prabhupada said, they said, what will drive the majority of people to the movement? People thought the philosophy, or et cetera, et cetera. We will win, with our logic and our philosophy and the Shastra. And Prabhupada said, no, it's going to be the culture. It's going to be our culture. It's going to be the beautiful Matajis in the saris and the glowing constitutions of the brahmacharis, and the enthusiasm of the kirtans, and the as we all know, that wonderful taste of prasad, how it hits you that certain way that you've never tasted something like this before. And even if it's the simplest of dishes, there's something there that we've never tasted before. So there is that mystical aspect to our movement that Prabhupada gave us. When he first gave class, he also, to the hippies, he did not have money. He did not, at 22nd Avenue, excuse me, he would simply cut up one apple, and share that apple amongst the devotees that were present. because he knew the magic that was there, that apple was going to do the work. That, for the people like myself who are rebellious and ask such questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Yes, that's Krishna working through his holy name, his devotees, and prasad. So, yeah, and that's an unbeatable combination for any so-called thick-headed person who comes. So, and if obviously everyone is going in their own way. So ultimately everyone will reach Krishna. So the conch is about to blow now. So we'll end the class here. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Shishi Radha Murlidhar Ki Jai, Shigar Chandra Ki Jai, Nandini Radhika Ki Jai. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
If there are more questions, I'm open to take them now. If not, then we can end the class. I'm okay with anything.
Yeah, you're a surrendered soul, Nandini Radhika. Thank you. Being who you are. Yeah, we won't be able to function. I won't be able to love my wife if I remembered my past lives. If I remember that Bhima Prabhu was my wife in my previous life, how am I going to function? Maybe he knows. You know, the souls, they travel in flux. So it's very likely that the person you know may have been your. I'm looking at Jeffrey Eckler and I'm having strange thoughts. Who are you, Jeff? Why do I love you so much in this life? Maybe we have some backstory. Okay. Would anyone like to? Nandini Radhika, let's. I want you to be the finisher, please. Finish this off before we get too weird.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Final instructions, Nandini Radhika, please. Final instructions from you.
Nothing, no. I don't give instructions, and I have no authority to give instructions. Yeah, just what I mentioned in the class was something that I've heard from my own from some senior devotees over the past few years. What Prabhupada said most importantly, and what Acharya is saying, what Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna himself is. So that's all I can say. We just have to follow what they are saying and little by little try to realize that Krishna's hand in whatever's happening in our lives.
Thank you. Thank you, Nandini Radhika.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone. It was nice seeing you. We love you.
Yes.
We need you on a daily basis. Don't disappear. We need you in the next life also. Don't go too far away.
Yes,
All right.
we all need each other. Thank you. Hare Krishna.